So I just discovered this new YouTube channel. It's a young woman by the name of Anna Brown. And I was really blown away by a couple of her videos that I watched. She is an incredibly awakened presence, a powerful authority, and she speaks from this clear, non-dual, space and, this God space, if you will. And I thought this would be an incredible opportunity to do a reaction video to one of her new videos. I've only seen two, so this will only be the third video I've ever watched. But if we haven't met before anyhow, my name's KoHaraLan. Welcome to the Mantra Corner, where we discuss the deeper realms of spirituality, non-duality, awareness, awakened presence, and consciousness. And so that's what we're going to focus on in this episode, I believe. But, let's go ahead and see what Anna has to say in her latest video called Organic.
Hello, beautiful friend. So this energy we call God, this energy we call the universe, this boundlessness intelligence, it's this. It's just this, without a you trying to manipulate and control it. Because as soon as you try to grasp these words, as soon as you try to hold on to it, you lost it, so to speak. And that's an illusion. Meaning, though, this I, this fictitious I, the one we call me and mine, which is a total illusion, feels real, and it feels like it can acquire more things to inflate its pseudo-reality. Not here.
And so this is, again, the reason for anxiety. It's the sole cause of anxiety. When we take ourselves to be a character that we've created, a mind-made self, this thought-based, mind-created idea of who we are, a character that we've taken ourselves to be, and we get lost in this sense of individuality. We take ourselves to be this actual person. And so she's addressing this directly. And this is really incredible because there are powerful ways that you can awaken out of this mind-identified state. And, I'm sure she's probably going to talk about, some of the perspective and ways to get there. Well, let's see what she has to say.
Not here. Here we point to the organic reality, which has not been manhandled by the mind or by the human, which is just a state of consciousness. Really, it's just a reflex. So similar to organic vegetables and fruit and just foods, it's pure, so to speak, because it hasn't been altered. It hasn't been manipulated. There's no add-ons needed with organic. You see? And you already are organic. However, this organic energy or reality is not a thing.
And so that's where we get confused. We take ourselves to be a thing. This presence that we are, this consciousness, this formless presence, right? We appear as a body. And so we identify with the body. The body is a thing. And so that's exactly what she's talking about. As long as we're identified as a thing, it's really impossible to get a sense of who we really are or what we really are.
But the fictitious me, or the sense of I, feels that way. It feels like a thing. And because it feels like a thing and an object, it's always relating to other things and other objects, and it believes this energy we're pointing to is an object. It is not. It appears as objects, but it's not an object itself. This is a paradox. Being in the world, yet not of it. Formlessness is form. Form is formlessness. How do you teach that? You cannot. You already are it. And again, it's not an it. But as soon as you think you know what this is, and that you can control this, you veil this. Seemingly. Only seemingly.
And so consciousness, presence, right, it has no form. And so when we're looking for it, as a thing, we don't see it, we don't find it. And it is our very essence. And this is what she's talking about. It's so hard. Once you go grasping for it, it's gone. Because there you are as a separate self, grasping for something that's other than you. And so we've created that duality. And so from the dualistic state, there's no way to get to enlightenment. There's no way to get to oneness. We have to actually snap out of that duality and access it directly. So let's see what else she has to say about it.
Nonetheless, you can't escape this boundless energy. You can't escape this infinite intelligence.
Well, we're swimming in it.
It appears as a you and a me. It appears as a tree. It appears as the dirt. It appears as a smile.
Yes, it's everything.
As thought and emotion. It appears as loss. It appears as gain. It's so fucking beautiful. It appears as everything, and yet it's nothing. It cannot be touched. It cannot be defined. It cannot be confined.
Nor can it be stained.
Freedom.
Yes, liberation.
This is freedom, not for the personal self, not for this sense of I.
This is something that is so difficult to get until you get it. In fact, you can't get it as long as your mind identified. I remember teachers saying things to me, concerning this very thing years and years ago, and they would say like, the one who thinks he wants to be awakened or enlightened or free, right, will never be free. And so freedom, true freedom, is not for you. It's actually from you. It's away from you. Freedom is from the individual. The individual is suffering. The individual is limitation. The individual is fictitious me, ego. But presence is none of that. And as you can see, by the way we're actually embodied and engaged in it, it's not a detached sort of aloofness so that I'm not in the world, but you are in the world, but not of the world. And one of the things that she spoke about, which really helped remind me instantly, that made me kind of astounded by what she was saying. The reminder she used was that if you look, whatever it is that you're looking at, whatever object in consciousness, if you check to see, awareness is not separate from that. So these are the types of, ways for you to check it out for yourself. We call this first person science. It's science that you can prove for yourself only. But when you look for this, well, let's see what she says.
You see, the eye is always looking out of the eyes going, okay, what do I need to fix? What's wrong here? What's missing? Something's missing. So when the me arises, something missing arises. When the I arises, so does I need to go find fulfillment. Not recognizing you are the fulfillment. When we deny the body, when we deny the mind, when we deny the appearance of the world, we're denying the absolute. We are denying totality. We are denying wholeness. Because so many non-dual teachers and messengers talk about renunciation, letting go, don't do this, eat that, just watch that, blah, 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 blah. Religion. Religion mask.
It's so funny because I was just thinking about this earlier today. I was putting my socks up onto some holy scriptures, and I thought for a moment, I shouldn't put them there. That was on my feet, and those shouldn't be on the scriptures. And then I thought for a moment, I said, wait a minute. The socks are God, the scriptures are God, I'm God, that's God, everything is God. What the hell difference does it make? And so I put the socks back on there, and I use that as a way to remind myself that all is one, all is God, all is consciousness, everything, all of it. And it's all appearing. Everything is appearing as it is. But its source is the one. Its source is awareness. And we can prove that out for ourselves. That's why this teaching it's not a theory. It's not a religion, as she's talking about. It's not something you have to believe in. Fuck beliefs. We want to experience this directly for ourselves so we can know the truth of who we are. I don't want to take anyone else's word for it, right? A guru is only meant to show you the way so you can discover it for yourself. He points inside you so you can find yourself. Let's continue.
As unity and freedom. No. Freedom can be picking out at a buffet. Freedom can be meditating. Freedom can appear as watching television. Freedom can appear as this conversation, so it seems. Everything is already total and free. Not for the me, though, because the me feels like it's in a prison cell. So when it arises as an energy, as a reflex, as a contraction, the whole world looks like a prison cell. And it needs to be fixed. And someone's got to do it right now. That's what the me lives on. Something is broken and something is missing. And that's okay, too. It's just a game. It's just a play. However, what we highlight here is all of that seeking, all of that trying to fix something that's not broken is futile.
It is and it isn't. This is one of those paradoxes as well because, the awakened ones, when you've had the experience of awakening, you can clearly say, yes, awakeness was already here. I didn't need to do anything. But to someone who is asleep, they can take that message to think that there's nothing to be done. There's no work to be done. There's no purification that needs to take place. The difference is we're just trying to recognize the truth, which is that there's actually no one doing it. So we do, appear to be doing practices. We appear to be meditating, right? This is what happens. And then, suddenly sometimes enlightenment happens. Waking up happens. And then we recognize that which we wake up to was already awake. It's a paradox. And then we say, you don't need to wake up, right? But you need to wake up from your slumber to discover what true wakefulness really is. And let's see what she says further.
Awakening is the recognition that nothing is broken. Nothing's missing. Everything is already whole and free. Everything is unconditional love arising as a you and a me. And
yes, but it's a recognition. It's not a belief. It's not a thought. Awakening is a recognition. And so that is why nothing needs to be done except that you recognize the truth of what's already here. But we can't see it. We're so blinded by our thoughts and by our identity and who we take ourselves to be. That shit needs to be undone. And it is work. But we discover that there's no one here doing it. And the more that we can snap out of that identified state, the more we just witness it undoing itself, all by itself, effortlessly. And that's what she was alluding to before. This is it, that it becomes effortless. Your own fulfillment arises effortlessly from within when you stop seeking, when you discover your true nature.
this cannot be known. This is an unknowable perfection. However, most beings hear this with the mind, and then they are floating around with concepts trying to break it down and chew on it. The mind will never get this. You see, the mind will go belly up, because this is intuitive. This is utterly intuitive, and that's why the mind cannot serve you in the organic reality.
It's actually impossible for the mind to understand. I mean, when we talk about this, you know, it's difficult to get a grasp for it when you don't have experience of being out of the mind. When you're stuck in the mind and someone says, you can't get this from the mind, you're like, what the hell else am I supposed to get it with? But there's actually different ways of perceiving other than through our ordinary or small mind.
Because everything is spontaneous and it's intuitive. It is not mental in the sense of precognition.
And when we experience it directly, it's intuitive in that it's direct. We experience it in our feeling sense.
Knowing's beautiful if you're learning calculus, learning how to change your tire. But you cannot know no thing. Knowing's a mental faculty. Awakening's unknowing. It's a mystery. It's the end of the one who wants to get this, to attain it, to know it.
So we got more paradox here, because it is an unknowing, and it's a knowing, or I should say it's a not knowing that knows. Because we begin to know directly from awareness instead of through the mind, and it's quite different. It's a different type of knowing. It's not grasping at anything. It doesn't know things in that it comprehends them. It knows in the way that you know that what you see is in front of you. There's a direct sense of it. You don't think that it's there. You don't think about it. It's known to you directly. And so that's the type of essential knowingness that is our true and basic nature. And it's awake, it's aware, it's pure, it's perfect. It doesn't change. It's infinite. Okay, back to Anna.
It's just so simple. It's this. But as soon as thought comes in, if there's identification with that thought, off to the races we go, seemingly. But you've never had a thought, nor have you ever had an emotion. The dream experiences, these are my thoughts and these are my emotions. That's an illusion. Thoughts appear, emotions appear. And there's either an identification, dream world, or there's no identification, awakening.
It's really that simple. All suffering is hanging on the character. If we take ourselves to be the character, we suffer. And we lose ourselves. We don't know who we are, and we're not awake.
When the energetic sensation of me is present, it always feels less than. And so it thinks, I can't reach enlightenment or awakening through trying more to get this. I don't understand what she's saying, so I need to study more. Listen to more videos. No, there's nothing to get here. There's nothing to understand. This is the one place where you're not given tons of modalities and processes or a list of things you've got to check off before you become enlightened. This is only a confirmation that everything that is appearing is the beloved, that which we call God or the universe or infinite intelligence.
And yet, to someone who is mind identified, that teaching could be very, very frustrating, Anna. And they would be totally turned off, but I get it. And I'm glad. I thank you for saying it. It's bold, but it's your experience. And so you must say it and speak about it directly, exactly as you know it to be. It's what I respect of what I've seen of you so far and what I look forward to seeing more of. Let's see, we've got a little bit more left.
Hiding and masquerading and all that you see and don't see. The mind will never get this. And even if we look at the brain, it's cut into two hemispheres. Polarities, masculine, feminine, right and wrong, good and bad. It will never, ever see what we're pointing to. And it's not like a pointing to, it's like your breath, it's like gravity. It's closer than intimacy. You can't lose this.
It's so true, and yet it doesn't feel that way when we're identified with the body.
That there's no separate self.
But this is the direct experience. She's speaking exactly as it is.
Because those questions, the one who wants to understand and get this, it's coming out of survival instincts. If I don't get this, I may not feel safe enough.
Or fears or insecurities, yes. You said it right. You said it's a sense of lack, incompletion.
The me is afraid of death. But nothing actually dies, only energy is transformed. And the me actually isn't even there, so how does it die? It never began, so it can't end. That's the paradox. There's already no me. There's only the beloved appearing as a me, playing a game of hide and seek for no reason, for no rhyme.
Just for fun.
The me will always have a reason or an intention or a meaning or a purpose for why this is arising. Hence the stress, hence the guilt, hence the shame, hence the struggle. The organic reality needs no purpose or an intention. However, an intention can arise or appear in space. It's just not owned by anyone. It's not personal. This is a deeply impersonal message. Hence why the person will never get this. Because
it's beyond.
Only isness can hear this. Only isness can recognize itself.
It's beyond the individual. The individual
that is not connected to
can't
the
get it.
Story of time. Time is an illusion. And so is the I. And it's gonna...
Well, yes, the individual...
Just like that.
The I is definitely an illusion. The I is just, it's an effect that's created through ping-ponging thoughts going back and forth, referring to an I that actually has no reality. So when the machine starts, thinking of itself as an I, and then it starts talking to itself in that way, I should do this, or I wonder what they'll think about this, or maybe they like me, maybe they don't. Oh, I'm afraid of this. What if I die? All this stuff. It creates the sense of a me. And once we have that sense of a me, we have identification. Then we become, this limited individual who's fearful of dying, who's separate from everything else, who's incomplete, who's insecure, who's completely neurotic and anxious, and is going to remain there until, awakening happens and, consciousness snaps out of it. So that's what needs to happen. But yeah, the mind can't get it. The me can't get it. When you're first starting to understand about awakening or consciousness or enlightenment, it feels like something you can get, you can attain, you'll become, and you'll feel strong and empowered when it happens, But it's not like that. You disappear. The you that wanted to become enlightened is gone. And then there's freedom. But that's why it said that the me can't get this. It literally can't. You cannot make the small self big enough. Never.
That. Because it's not even there. You see, so many of us believe awakening is the end of vibrancy and playfulness.
It's the dawn of vibrancy.
This is not about renunciation again. This is not about the end of a vibrant life or playfulness. It's about the end of the one who thought they had a life to control. You don't have a life. You are the manifestation of life itself, pretending you are not. And so this is heard when it's heard, and it resonates when it resonates. Peekaboo. I see you.
I see you, Anna. Namaste. So, it was really just a pleasure to be able to connect and to watch and see the light pouring through from another being, who shares the same kind of understanding and recognition. And this is all just dualistic nonsense, these words, really, because there's no other being over there, Anna. There's no other being over there, and that shares the same perspective as mine here. There's just that one. There's just that one presence. But it's good to recognize it and to connect with it. And so, that's what I offer for you guys, anyone out there also who's watching this, my friends and loved ones, to be in that state of presence with each other, to be able to snap out of our mind-identified state where we're just, so focused on our problems or, getting what we need, getting our needs met and things. And so there's not much left over available for us to really connect and, be there for each other and to really experience what life has to offer. It's everything. It's this. I don't know what else to say about it. I've already probably said too much. Nonetheless, I really enjoyed doing this reaction video. Anna, I commend you for your work. I respect you immensely. This is so funny. And as I'm saying this, I'm realizing there's no one over there. There's no one there to respect. Sorry, Anna, I don't respect you. Because there is no Anna. But you know what I mean. Much love to you and everything you're doing. And I look forward to connecting again. Perhaps we could have a conversation one of these days. I would highly be open to that. And nonetheless, for everyone else who's been watching, much love to you. I hope this was entertaining and somehow enlightening. I hope that something that we spoke about resonated, stirred within your soul, and you felt a resonance and a connection. And nonetheless, I look forward to seeing you again on another one of these real soon. So in the meantime, remember, resistance